Yes, yes, yes. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Anywhere you're connecting with us from in the world, you're welcome to the Q, the Customer Experience Conversations, brought to you by yours truly, Dick Boyewole. It's been a couple of weeks. We're glad to be back. Glad to have you. Glad to have you here with us again. Yeah. So hope we've been having an amazing month of July 2022. Hope it's been very productive. Hope we've been doing very well in our businesses. Hope we've been demanding for value as customers and hoping we've been giving value to our customers as businesses. You are welcome. Yeah, so very quickly, we'll jump right into it. Today, we're looking at the map, the journey into the heart of the customer. The map, the journey into the heart of the customer. I'm sure you're wondering what all of this is about, and we're going to dive right into it in a couple of seconds. So, yes, if you're just connecting with us on the queue, with the customer experience conversations, where we talk about basic information that we need to know as business owners, business operators, as customers, with regards to the entire conversation around the customer experience. So, we talk about what we need to know for customers to get the best customer experience, get perspectives from both sides of the aisle, so that we can have a balanced conversation. That's a very objective platform where we're able to share information that concerns the customers and the business operators alike. So we all know what the expectations are from both sides, and we know how to have reasonable expectations and also how to meet those expectations as business operators. So today, we're looking at the map, the journey into the heart of the customer. And in the last couple of weeks, we had a series that we just ended some weeks ago where we talked about some pillars, not all, but some pillars, four pillars of the customer experience, where we talked about personalization, convenience, competence, and being proactive. So we looked at those four pillars to see how we can lay the foundation for these conversations that we will be having on the queue. And as we will be saying today, those pillars still hold true and they still cut across all of these conversations, not just those things that we talked about. We talked about feedback, we talked about data, we talked about a lot of things. If you're wondering how to catch up on those past episodes, go on our YouTube channel, the Q Podcast. Go on our podcast channels, Podbean and Apple Podcast, the Q Podcasts. Excuse me, the Q Podcasts. That is where you'll get the past episodes of everything we're talking about right here on the Q, the customer experience conversations. Very quickly, we'll dive right into it. Today's conversation, like I said before, is the map, the journey into the heart of the customer. All right, so very quickly, you're wondering what I'm on about. And I'll start by saying this. We're glad that it's a good thing to see, all right, that there's a lot of competition for the attention of customers right now, especially now that we're in the digital age where everyone is churning out digital products in various forms across various sectors, various industries to see how they can provide the best service to their customers, to see how they can provide the best experience to their customers, and also ultimately to see how they can make the most money and make the most profit. Because in the end, that is what business is about, making money. If you're not making money in your business, I don't know, maybe you're even running a charity. That's even if we can call it that. So it is important that in all these conversations that we are able to see how we can make money from it. And like we've always said on here on the queue, that the entire conversation around the customer experience must be interwoven into the fabric of our businesses, because that is the sure way that we can get customers to come, get them to keep coming, and get them to bring others along. Because in the end, when we do not have customers in our businesses, do we really have businesses? Are we really running businesses? All right. So, yeah, the map, the journey into the heart of the customer. So, today we'll be looking at 7 steps. Today we'll be looking at 7 steps on how to make the customer journey map with regards to the customer experience. If you're just joining the queue, the Customer Experience Conversations, you are welcome to the Q, where we talk about the customer experience and how it relates to the business operators and the customers alike. So yeah, we're looking at 7 steps on how to make the customer journey map, and we'll dive right into it with the introduction. Yeah, so like I said, or like I was saying, it is very interesting to see that there's a lot of competition trying to get the attention of customers from various businesses across various sectors, various industries, especially now that we're in the digital age. Everybody is churning out some form of digital product, even if it's in form of advertisement, if it's in form of products for customers, just to see how we can engage customers and engage them maximally in the end, to see how they can come to our businesses to patronize us, to pay for our products, to pay for our services, while we give them the best customer experience that there is in town. All right. So yes, we're in the digital era, we're in the digital space. Customers also have a wide array of options to choose from. Customers have a lot of options to choose from. So the question is this: what is it that we can do in our businesses that will set us aside, that will set us apart, to ensure that we attract the attention of customers, we retain that attention, and we maximize that attention when we have it, not just for that time when we have it, but for subsequent times, even when they can bring others along. All right. So that is why we're also looking at the 7 steps for your customer journey mapping. It is important that we understand and identify all these factors to see how we can make the most of the customer experience protocols that we're trying to build in all our businesses. All right. And now customers even know to demand for better and not just go with passive businesses that don't really care about the entire customer experience protocols or take certain things for granted when we're talking about the customer experience. And the amount of knowledge that is available to customers comes through different channels, different platforms, and it's made them more discerning with products and services that they get to choose from. The ones that they get to consume, the one that they get to engage in terms of businesses, in terms of brands. They have a wide array of options. We've said that time and time again, and I'm sure we are very, very much aware of that. And that's why it's important that for every business operator, that we are able to identify and know how to map out the customer journey. It is very important that we're able to map out the customer journey. And this particular conversation is quite interesting because it isn't just about the customer experience. It cuts across various things that involve our business, chief among which is it's one of the things that can help you build a sustainable business model. It is very important. Pay attention to the following steps that we'll be talking about and see how you can identify various factors that would also help you build a sound business model. It's not just about the customer experience, which in itself should be integral to the fabric of your business or to the foundation of your business, but you must also know that talking about the customer journey map, it is important that you integrate it while building your business model. If you build your business model, you can always review it with these few steps and factors that we will be talking about in the next couple of minutes. All right. So very quickly, we need to understand what we mean by the customer journey map, because I've been talking about that for a couple of minutes now, and you're wondering, what is the customer journey map? So it is a tool that can be used to visually represent your customer's interaction with your brand or with your business. I'll take that again. Your customer journey map is a visual representation of how a customer will engage and interact with your brand, with your business, with your enterprise. Meaning that it is something that you have to put down. You conceptualize it mentally and you need to be able to document it. You need to be able to document it, to put it down in pictorial form. In whatever way you want to put it down, it must be documented, because you must be able to say with all sense of confidence that when a customer engages your business, when they engage your brand, from point A, it goes to point B, to point C, to point D, till the end of that particular interaction, and then you get to repeat it again. You must be able to adequately articulate what that is, and that is what we mean by the customer journey map. I'll take it again. The customer journey map is a tool that you can use to visually represent the interaction and the engagement of customers when they engage your brand or when they interact with your business. All right. And this process can give you critical insights on the customer journey, which can be used to your advantage. So, like I like to say, these conversations about customer experience, when we're able to identify that it must be woven into the fabric of our businesses, we will then know that in the end, it is more beneficial for the business and the business operator. Because it isn't just about good business ethics or good business culture. It in turn makes you a lot more money. So investing in knowing these things, investing in being familiar with this information that we share on the Q, the customer experience conversations, is very important. So it's not just about the customer experience or talking about the expectations of the customer or how you can meet those expectations. It is also identifying that there are certain things that you need to have integrated into the fabric of your business so that you can make more money. It's really just that simple. So to bring that point home, I'll list 3 examples or 3 advantages of the customer journey map in itself. The 3 advantages that it gives your own business, aside from us looking at it from the perspective of customer experience. All right. So the very first advantage that we'll look at, the benefits of understanding the customer journey, they are the following. Number 1, creating better customer experiences. I mean, that goes without saying. Okay, you are on the queue. All right. So it goes without saying. Number 2, it helps you to identify areas that your brand can improve on. It's very important that we're able to identify places, processes, systems where our brands can improve on, where we can make the customer journey seamless, where we can take out certain bottlenecks to ensure that the entire journey, the entire interaction and engagement between us and our customers is smooth, that it is seamless, it is with little or no issues. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about convenience, and it saves your customer time and money. That is convenience. Today, everybody wants convenience when they're engaging businesses, when they are engaging brands. Convenience is what saves your customer time and money. So when you know the things that your brand needs to improve on, it helps save your customer time and money. Because in the end, when they engage you, when they interact with your brand, that engagement is seamless. That engagement is smooth. It is convenient. All right. So the very third benefit of understanding the customer journey map is discovering new opportunities that your brand can pursue. Until you have it documented, you'd be surprised that you would have been myopic or totally blind to certain opportunities that your brand could have explored. That's one of the benefits of having things written down, of having things documented. When you have them documented, then you get to see things from certain perspectives. All right. So I'll take the benefits again, the 3 benefits of the customer journey map for your business, which are very important to you. The very first one, it helps you to create better customer experiences. The second, identifying areas that your brand can improve on, because you must improve on your processes. You must improve on your systems. It is imperative. It is very important. Your brand cannot be stagnant. Your brand cannot be stifled. It must be dynamic. It must be dynamic. It's non-negotiable. And the third is discovering new opportunities that your brand can pursue. Until you have certain things visualized or documented, you will not be able to access certain perspectives when we're talking about business or even life altogether. So it is important. It is very, very important. So for the sake of this conversation, we will be looking at a business case study, and it will just be a particular type of business, a smoothie business. For example, you have someone that's selling smoothies. We all know what smoothies are. So let's say on this platform right now, today on the queue, we have a brand, a smoothie brand. We will be using that as a case study for the examples that we will be exploring today when we're talking about the customer journey map. So stay with me, all right? Stay with me. So right now we'll be looking at the 7 steps on how to make a customer journey map. 7 steps. Very quickly, we will look at them and we'll wrap up in a few minutes. 7 steps. The first step, set your targets. First step, set your targets. It's easier to navigate when your destination is very clear. All right? It's easier to navigate your customer journey map when you know what outcomes you're trying to achieve. Where are you going? Where are you going? It's when you know where you're going, that's when you can identify how you want to get there. So you must be able to definitively and distinctively say that for this particular purpose, this is where we want to be. This is where we're going. This is the objective that we're trying to achieve. What is your goal? All right? So we must be able to say that this is where we're going. This is where we want to be. These are the goals that we're trying to achieve. Because identifying goals and setting targets are essential first steps on learning how to make your customer journey map. Essential. They are essential first steps. It's important to set targets and have a clear idea of what you want to achieve before you even begin, because you must be able to say that this is where we want to be, this is where we're going. That's the only way you can determine how you want to get there. All right? So doing so will allow you to narrow down the most efficient ways of hitting your target. And having goals in mind while going through with a task can also help you stay on track, because in that way, you're not able to have a lot of deviations. You're not able to have a lot of deviations because you have a set target, you have a set goal. So you know the things that you need to do to get there. So you're not just branching about and saying, okay, you know what, I'm trying to get to a particular place, but I don't know where I'm going exactly. I just feel like I should be on the move. And then you start to go through every street, and because you don't have a set destination, you cannot properly chart a course for where you want to be because you don't even know where you want to be. All right? So the first step in learning how to make a customer journey map, it should have the following questions. These following questions should be answered when we're trying to identify the target, where we want to be. The first is, why are you making this map? Why? The purpose. Where purpose isn't known, abuse is inevitable. Where purpose isn't known, abuse is inevitable. So you must be able to identify and answer your why. What is your why? That is the most important question you can ever ask an individual or a business in this side of reality. It is very important that you are able to state your why. You are able to state the purpose. Because when you are able to identify and properly articulate the purpose, then you can say, these are the steps on how I want to achieve that purpose. Those goals that I've set, this is how I intend to achieve those goals. And whose perspective will it be from? That's the next question. Will it be from the perspective of the customer or the perspective of the business operator? Because we need to be able to identify whose perspective that will be from. Because that in itself informs how we go ahead to chart the course for where we want to be. Okay? The last but not least is, what experiences will be factored in to this particular conversation. Remember, we're talking about the map, the journey to the heart of the customer. And we're looking at 7 steps on how to draw out the customer journey map. And we've been able to say that defining the customer journey map It is a tool that visually represents how your customer interacts and engages with your business and with your brand. So we're on the first step where we're saying you must be able to identify your target. Set your target. Say this is where you want to be. This is where you're going. And for you to be able to do that, you must be able to answer these three questions. Why are you making the map? Are you doing it for yourself or are you doing it for the customer? Whose perspective are you making the map from? The perspective of the customer or your own perspective as a business operator? And finally, what experiences will be factored in to this particular exercise that we're trying to engage? All right. So the second step is create buyer personas. This is where you put yourself in the shoes of the customer. And that's why I said this particular conversation around the customer journey map is very, very important, because this particular factor is something that every business operator must be able to identify when they're building their business models. Whenever you're developing your business models, you must be able to create buyer personas to be able to put yourself in the customer's shoes. We're able to say, which demographic am I trying to cater to? Who can afford this product or service? Why would they buy it? Where would they buy it? How would they like to be marketed to? Where would they like to make the purchase or to engage with us? On what platforms? Online platforms or offline platforms? Today, there are certain brands you will never see online, especially exclusive brands, very exclusive and very expensive brands. They don't need to advertise on Instagram or Twitter or on TikTok because the customers aren't there and the customers know where to find them. So there are certain brands you will never see them, you would never even hear of them if you're not within a certain tax bracket that they're catering to. So you must be able to create a buyer persona, or at least create two of it, so that you're able to adequately say, these are my customers. These are the people I'm catering to. These are the people that I have been able to identify that they are the ones that I want to get my money from. They are the ones who should come and engage us to buy our products or pay for our services. So a buyer persona is a fictional character which represents a specific customer segment for your brand. When creating buyer persona, be sure to consider the following characteristics: their background, the demographics, lifestyle, personality, information sources, and shopping preferences. Because all these factors are the things that we must understand and identify, because they are what makes up what we call the buyer decision matrix, the BDM. The buyer decision matrix. These are the factors that determine why a customer would buy a certain item and not buy a particular item, and why they will buy from a particular brand and not another brand. So we must understand it. I'll go through those factors again. We must be able to consider these following characteristics: their background, the background of the customer, the demographics of the customer, their lifestyle, the personality, information sources, shopping preferences, social strata, tax brackets, level of income they make. Because you need to be able to know if they can afford your services or if they can afford your product. It's important that you're able to identify that fact. And this is where interviews, surveys come in. Gathering data. If you've been on the queue for the last couple of weeks, you would understand why I was smiling. Because we talked about data week in, week out, and the importance of data. This is where data comes in. And it's always be coming in. So this is where surveys, interviews, questions, this is where they come in. Because you must be able to identify the background of the customer. Know their lifestyle, know their income bracket, know the types of information they have, the sources of information that they have, their shopping preferences, their personality types, their backgrounds. You must be able to factor all of these in when you're making the consideration to create your buyer personas. And I'll just give a quick tip, okay? Be sure to ask why questions. Back to why. Back to why. It always circles back to the why. Ask why questions. When you're doing your surveys, conducting your surveys, or your interviews, ask the why. You're back to the why questions. These will provide you with more insight on a customer's behavior and motivations. What motivates customer A to make a purchase would not necessarily be what would motivate a customer B to make the same purchase. Even at the same price at the same time. It won't be the same thing. So since your customer journey will be built around the buyer persona, what you want has to be as accurate as possible. You can't just keep guessing or just throwing ideas or parameters in the air. You need to be able to ensure that within a certain degree, there is a lot of accuracy with whatever it is that you're doing. It is very important. It is very important. And the more data you have when you're creating the buyer persona, the better. The better. The more data you have, the more data, the better. Ideally, you want to limit each customer journey map to a maximum of, let's say, 2 personas. Okay? They're limited to 2 personas. And going by a business case study, I'll use this example. So, for example, we have a smoothie business. And we're asking the why questions. Now, why would someone buy smoothie from you? Could it be that maybe they're trying to make healthier options in terms of their health being compromised already, or so their health doesn't get compromised? Is that why they're switching from maybe carbonated drinks to drinking smoothies? That's the motivation that you need to identify. Why are they buying your smoothies? Why would they even want to consider buying smoothies? You need to understand their motivations. You need to understand their behavior, their lifestyle. There are certain people that you will never get to buy and drink smoothies. It's just not their thing. So going to them, you've been marketing to the wrong customer. You just be beating a dead horse. And what's the point of that? Because you'd be wasting time, you'd be wasting resources. So step 3, identify motivations and pain points. And this is more like an extension of point 2, where we talked about you creating buyer personas. Because when you identify their motivations and their pain points, these can still be considered to be part of the buyer persona. Because it's important to highlight the relevance of understanding customer motivations and pain points in the latter stages of learning how to make a customer journey map. You must be able to identify their pain points and their motivation. What is it that is a pain point for them? What is that issue that they have? Are they engaged a brand that does the same thing you do in the same sector, in the same industry? Did they have a bad experience with them? Is that why they're talking to your brand? Is that why they're engaging your business? You need to be able to sniff out these things and know what exactly is going on. Okay? You must know what is going on. And consider your buyer persona. What keeps them coming? What keeps them going? Conversely, what's stopping them from reaching your goals? Do they have fears? Do they have reservations? These are things that you need to know. You need to know, and you can only know them when you engage customers, when you do service, when you have data. Most importantly, if they have pain points, if they have, and you've been able to identify what motivates them, how can your brand help them? How? How can you help them? Now, you need to keep the answers to these questions in mind because they will be crucial in the following steps that we're still running through. All right? So the fourth step, map out the buyer's journey. It's important to note that different buyers' journey in order to be able to provide more personalized experiences for your customers down to the line. I'll take that again. It's important to note the different stages of the buyer's journey in order to be able to provide more personalized experiences for your customers down the line. I chose to read that again deliberately. You saw where I said personalized experiences, one of the pillars of customer experience that we treated a couple of weeks ago. So it's very important that we're able to provide more personalized experiences. It's very important. It's very, very important. And these three stages help on you for you to identify the buyer's journey. Okay? Number one is awareness. Number two is consideration. Number three is decision. And when we're talking about the awareness stage, the awareness stage is where buyers are able to identify the challenges that they have or that they are facing. So you have to consider these questions. How does the buyer view these challenges? Is dealing with these challenges a top priority for the buyer? If the buyer's health, for example, is not a priority that would steer them to buying smoothies instead of carbonated drinks, they just haven't gotten to the place of awareness yet. So all your marketing or all your advertisements or sales and promotions may just go to waste with a customer like that, because they haven't gotten to the place of consciousness, they've not gotten to the place of awareness where they can say that, you know what, I think I need this product, I think I need this service provided, I have this challenge, I have this problem, I need to have it sorted out. All right? And the question is, will there be any consequences if the buyer does not deal with these challenges? Maybe the buyer is at the verge of having some heart condition, or well, they already have some heart conditions, and they're trying to see how they can be better with their diet. So instead of having dinner at 7 p.m., they take a smoothie. Now, the next stage is the consideration stage, where buyers are actively looking for ways to deal with the challenges that they are facing. Now, they've been able to reach the awareness stage, the stage of self-consciousness, where they can say, you know what, I have this challenge, I have this problem, I need to get it sorted out, I need to get it solved. That's the place of consideration. Now, this is where they are looking at various options to how they can solve this challenge. Now, is watching your diet the only way to maybe likely prevent or stave off having a heart condition? No, it isn't. But it's one of the ways. So if they choose to say that, you know what, I think I need to be healthier with my diet, I need to drink more smoothies, then they have considered your industry, your sector as an option. And in the decision stage, the final stage, because we're talking about the three stages of the buyer's journey: awareness, consideration, and decision. Awareness is where they are able to identify, to come to the consciousness that they have a certain challenge and they need it addressed pronto. Consideration is where they're looking at various options across various sectors and industries to identify and know what it is that the actual solution they're seeking is. And the decision stage is where buyers are on the solution, where they're searching for the most suitable product or service. And hopefully that is your brand. Hopefully that's your brand. So we need to consider these questions when we're looking at the buyer's journey. Okay, we need to look at these questions. Who are the stakeholders in this decision? Who are the people that are first and directly most affected with this decision? How would the buyer evaluate the pros and cons of your brand versus your competitors? And what criteria would the buyer use to determine if a product is of service or it is suitable to them? What factors, what parameters, what pros and cons will they use to determine that your product or your service is what they're looking for? How will they be able to know that? How will they be able to identify that? Now, step 5, as you're crossing home, You need to maximize touch points. And traditionally, brands have always been the one to make first contact with customers and clients. But now, with the digital age, things have changed. In most cases, it's the customers that engage you the first, not the other way around. But you also need to have active touch points out there. And if you're wondering what touch points refer to many channels through which a customer may encounter a brand. It could be seeing the office building in person. It could be somebody referring you to the office building. It could be you seeing them on social media or print media or maybe in the market or in the store or some way, one way or the other. So it is very important that we're able to maximize the touch points so that when customers do engage us, we are able to make the most of that experience and that opportunity. So learn the ropes of your touch points so you can maximize your potential. Said that already. And note that the energy here needs to be purely digital. It does not need to be purely digital and does not need to be purely traditional. You need to mix things up. Don't just say that, okay, you know what I'm doing is going to be strictly digital. For example, you sell smoothies and your targeted demography are parents who do drop-offs and pickups at schools. And then all you're doing are only online adverts. You're not bothering to go to the school to park your vehicle out there so they can see that maybe another parent or someone else is here to do business with them, and then they can buy that smoothie and go home within that afternoon, or buy the smoothie in the morning, and then instead of drinking some harmful substances, they start their day with a smoothie. How about that? Maximize your touch points. Maximize your touch points. And the final point, or semi-final points, find your moments of truth. Because as you move towards completing the process of how to make a customer journey map, you realize that every step so far has been equipping you to deal with one of the biggest hurdles which brands face, which is earning your customers' trust. We will be discussing that in weeks to come. Earning your customers' trust. You must be able to earn your customers' trust. It is very important. Moments of truth are crucial points in the customer journey, because these are instances where the customer's opinion about your brand or about your business, they are formed based on their experiences with you. So that is the moment of truth. And at that point, you can almost not do anything about it, because it will always be a combination of things that you have done or that you have been doing. Because in the end, you cannot give what you do not have. So it will always be a combination of things that you have been doing in your brand and your business while you're engaging customers, and not just a particular customer. Because like we've been able to identify, people talk. People will always talk. They will always talk. And when something or a process is not part of your company's or organization's fabric, it does show. It shows. It's not every time that you do the fake it till you make it. Certain things just show. They really just show. All right. Now that the customer journey is an omni-channel experience, your brand won't be the only one that the customer interacts with. Because you open Instagram today, whatever it is that you do as a business, there are 7 to 10 options that will get thrown in your face, even by the algorithm alone. The algorithm alone will throw several businesses, several competitors in your face. So it is important for you to be able to identify that moment of truth, that aha moment, when customers engage you and where they're able to identify that experience that they have with you, with your brand, with your business. It is very important. It is very, very important. So you must make sure that in the case where they have so many options to choose from, it is your brand that they get to interact with. It is your brand that they get to engage with. So how do you stand out? And more importantly, how do you earn their trust? Is it by your branding? Is it by your pricing? Is it by having a sound or a firm grip on what your touch points are? Is that what it is? Because around 64% of customers want brands to connect with them, and they value authentic and meaningful interactions. not forced interactions, not faked interactions, not interactions that you just engage with the brand because, oh, then they said I'm in customer service, so I must engage the brand in this particular way. No, it must be genuine. It must be genuine. And earn customer loyalty for your brand by using insights gained from the previous steps of the customer journey mapping process to create genuine, memorable experiences for every touch point you have with the customer. So for the sake of those that are just connecting with us, welcome to the Q, the Customer Experience Conversations. Today we're talking about the map, the journey to the heart of the customer. And we're looking at various points or various steps that will help you to develop protocols on how to have your customer journey map. So very quickly, I'll do a quick recap of what that means. And the customer journey map is a tool that helps you visualize what or how your customer will interact or engage with your business from point A to point B to point C to point D to point E to where that particular engagement or that interact expires from, and then it is repeated again. All right. So that is what the customer journey map is. And there are 7 steps for you to be able to build a customer journey map. The first one is set targets, because you must know where you are going. Until you know where you are going, you will not know how to get there. Knowing how to get there is the journey. So that is what you need to know. You need to set your target. You need to have a set goal in mind by asking these questions. Why are you making this map? Whose perspective is it going to be from? Is it from the perspective of the customer or the perspective of the business operator? Whose perspective is it going to be from? What experiences are you factoring in? And you must be able to create buyer personas. That's the second step. That's where you put yourself in the shoes of the customer, where you are looking at your own business from the outside in, saying as a customer that fits within this particular background, demography, lifestyle, you earn this particular amount of money. These are shopping preferences. This is your tax bracket you fall into. How would you as a customer engage your own business? It is very important that we are able to identify this particular point and even adapt and incorporate it into our own business model. It is very important because at every step of the way, we need to be able to ask the why questions. Why? Why? What is the purpose? What motivates your customers? What is their pain points? That is the third step. What are their pain points? What are their motivations? What motivates a particular customer may not be what will motivate the second customer. All right? And step 4, you need to be able to map out the buyer's journey. It is important that you map out the buyer's journey. And to be able to map out the buyer's journey, you need to understand these 3 steps. Awareness, these 3 stages. Awareness, consideration, and decision. The awareness stage is where the customer has been able to identify and come to terms that they have a particular challenge that they need to have addressed. Now the question is, how do then they address it? That's the consideration stage, where they then look at various options and alternatives to see how they can address it. And the decision stage is where they have been able to say, you know what, this is how I'm going to address this challenge. This is how I'm going to attack it head on. This is what I want to do. This is the particular product I need to buy. This is a particular service I need to engage. This is the brand. This is the sector. This is the industry that I need to engage to have this particular challenge sorted out. All right. And number 5 is you maximizing touch points. Touch points refer to many channels through which a customer or your customers may encounter your brand. It could be your email. It could be your social media pages. It could be your physical office locations. It could be with your marketers. It could be with brand operators. It could be with your staff. It could be with your branded products that they see with some folks that don't even work with your organization or aren't even within the vicinity of your organization. Those are your touch points. And number 6, moments of truth, your aha moment. When after you've interacted and engaged with your customer, they're able to say that, yes, this is the impression we have of you. This is the experience that we have or that we have had while engaging your brand. And like we said, 64% of customers want brands to connect with them. So it is important that we do not take connecting with customers for granted. As brands, as businesses, as business operators, We must be able to see ways that we can identify with our customers. And the last point, we must revise this plan. Whatever customer journey map that you have, you must be able to revise it from time to time. Because, like we said a couple of weeks ago, you would always have an evolution of customers. And what worked for your customer 5 years ago may not work for your customer of today. What worked for your customer of 2020 may not work for your customer of 2022. I mean, what worked for customers in 2019 was not what would work for customers in 2020, where the pandemic hit and people were locked in. It was a different ballgame altogether. So you must be able to adequately evaluate, identify, and evolve your business processes, your entire customer journey map to see that it is relevant to the needs of the customers of now, not relevant to the needs of customers of yesterday. It must be relevant to the needs of your customers for now. It must be relevant. If it is obsolete, you do not get anyone to engage you on it. All right, so we must revise it, we must review it, we must evolve it. We must evolve it. And that will be the final point that we will be looking at today when we're talking about the map and the journey to the heart of the customer. But before we leave, importantly, as we say on the final note, it is important that we remember that no matter which side of the aisle that we are, we must stay agile. As customers, we must have expectations. We must be able to articulate those expectations to the brands, to the businesses, to the enterprises that we engage in. And we must be reasonable with those expectations. And as business operators, as brand owners, as members of teams or a team, we must be able to see how to meet those expectations. Because it is when expectations are met, that is when customers can say that they have had positive customer experiences with your brand. So we must give them that value that they seek. We must meet those expectations. And I believe that together we can improve what the customer experience should really be. And these conversations will be a lot fuller, they'll be a lot richer, and they'll be a lot easier. So after now, to catch up with our previous episodes, like I said earlier, go to our YouTube channel, The Q Podcast, The Q, C-U-E Podcasts, on our podcast channels, the Podbean and Apple Podcasts, the Q Podcasts, the C-U-E Podcasts on Podbean and Apple Podcasts. More importantly, remember to share, to like, and subscribe to our channels. And remember to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend that the Q Podcast is here. It is live every Thursday. It is important that we identify that the customer experience conversations is there for us. We must maximize it. We must keep having these conversations. We must hold each other accountable as customers, as business operators. From me to you, Dikwa Oyewole, the same time next week on the Q, the customer experience conversations. Bye-bye. Enjoy the rest of your day.